It's home to the rowing and canoeing, and it's the first time that both these sports have made the games. When the games are over, one of these lakes will be turned into a natural swimming pool for over 50,000 people. There's a world-class field of rowers here, and the battle is on to make it to the finals. Joining me for commentary is Mark Lees, manager of the British squads. Well, Mark, it really is a tough task out there today, isn't it?
Yes, I think so. Many of the competitors here have won medals at the World Championships back in Nottingham last year, and I think some of our guys are going to find it quite tough.
Realistically, what about the medal chances?
I think we've got good hopes in the 8 and possibly in the lightweight coxless 4 as well, but both crews are going to have to row incredibly hard to make medals.
The men's coxed 4s. In lane 1, nearest the camera, Yugoslavia. Lane 2, Finland. In lane 3, Poland. In lane 4, Holland, a very young team. And in lane 5, Britain. Mark, what about the favourites, Poland?
Well, they had an exceptionally slow start, and the Yugoslavs over on the left-hand side of the camera have gone up exceptionally quick, rating 48 strokes a minute at the moment. The Polish are slowly getting themselves back in, and the British are a little bit slow off the start too.
And what about the British team themselves? Experienced?
They're quite an experienced crew, but certainly not at this level.
And we pick up the race now with 600 metres to go. The positions haven't changed dramatically. The Yugoslavs still ahead.
Yeah, the Yugoslavs at the moment are in fact almost neck and neck with the Dutch. The Yugoslavs this side of the camera. The Dutch on the far side are having an exceptionally good row, and the Polish are still struggling to actually get back into the race.
Do you think the conditions are affecting them out there?
I think so. I think one or two of them would be surprised by the humidity out there. The Polish are obviously very surprised by the fast start that the Yugoslavs and the Dutch put up, and they've still managed to stay out in front.
Well, there's barely anything in it, but the Poles are very, very strong. They've got to watch them, haven't they?
Absolutely. The Dutch are actually rating 34 at the moment, 34 strokes a minute, and I think the Yugoslavs are rating very similarly.
Astonishing battle going on between the Yugoslavs and Dutch, but as we've said, only 2 qualify, so they can't sit around.
And Poland don't look as though they're actually getting anywhere at all at the moment. The Yugoslavs are very strong. I think they're being cheered on by their home crowd as they come into the last part of the race.
It's a marvellous atmosphere in this regatta, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We've got an exceptionally good crowd today, quite unusual for this stage of the championships, so very well supported indeed.
The poor old British team seem to be a little bit out of it at the moment.
Well, they are facing quite tough opposition, and they are finding themselves, having gone through the first 500 pretty slowly, a little bit out of the race at this stage. But I think the race at the front now is really beginning to hot up.
And there you can see the Yugoslav team pushing well ahead of the British team right on the far side.
Yes, and in fact, at the moment on the far side, the Dutch are absolutely level with the Yugoslavs. The Polish seem to be having an enormous amount of difficulty coming through at this stage. We've got 250 metres to go. Yugoslavs 1, Dutch 2, Poland 3.
Finland and Great Britain out of it.
Absolutely, totally. We got the picture again of the Yugoslavs. We can't quite see where the Dutch are at this stage, but now both crews are putting in a very big sprint for the finish.
Barely a second in it.
Absolutely. I think actually the crews are now neck and neck, and the Polish are just starting to come back into the race. The British over there side, over the far side at the moment, not making any impression.
They've got to watch the Poles though. They're a very strong team.
This race is absolutely incredible. The two crews are absolutely neck and neck. They're absolutely going flat out to stay in front of that Polish crew, but they must be surprised to be in front of.
Well, so must the crowd. They must be delighted to be witnessing this. It's as if it was a final. I mean, they're coming up to the line. There's nothing to separate them at this point. Yes, it's very difficult to tell. The Yugoslavs may have got it. The crowd think they have, but I'm not sure. Mark, can you tell?
Well, I certainly couldn't tell by the way they crossed the finishing line there. I think we'll probably see it in the replay. They're coming up to the line. Well, I personally can't see any difference between those two crews. The Polish definitely haven't made the final, so they'll be pretty shocked.
And the photograph did in fact show that Yugoslavia came in first place, 0.03 of a second ahead of the Dutch. Poland in third place and Great Britain fourth. There was more hope of success for Britain in the men's lightweight coxless 4s, a team we've seen in action this year in the Channel 4 sprints. The West Germans started as favourites, a very experienced team. They rode a strong race. However, 2 teams were to qualify, so the British 4 would be happy with second place. The men's 8 had already made it to their final, so the fours from Imperial College, seen here nearest to the camera in second place, were determined to qualify. They held off a final burst from the Canadians in the last 100 metres, finishing 1.5 lengths down on West Germany. So West Germany and Britain safely through, joining Italy, Yugoslavia, the United States and France in the finals of the men's coxless fours.